Good morning, everybody. How are you? I hope everybody is well. It's been a while. It's been a crazy summer. As has everybody in my universe, been super busy and having fun. And our summer has just been exceptional. Here, usually it gets really hot and then it gets really smoky. And this year it's been temperate, sunny, no smoke. Not good so far. Oh, I forgot I have my things on. So yay for that. Very exciting. And this is the second time I'm doing this video because the last time, even though I hadn't, which is common for me, to have a cinnamon roll in the morning and then leave the remnants in the corner of my mouth while I do a half-hour video, I did not do that. But when I went back to watch the video, it looked as if I had a big clump of something. I don't know what. Coffee or whatever. Oh, speaking of which, I left my coffee over here. Let me grab that because you always sometimes need a little boost in the middle of these things. Cheers. Good morning. Clink. Delightful. I mean, not in the corner of my mouth. Anyway, so what else have I been doing? Done a couple of concerts. Elvis Costello, really good. And just last week went to Jason Isbell. Oh my God. If you get a chance to see him, see him. He is so good. His music is good. His sound is good. His crowd is good. I was surprised. I expected it to be sold out, but it wasn't. And it was just a delightful crowd. Everybody was having such a great time. And I just think there's some people who think, he's country. And I'm like, not really. I think he calls himself neo or alt country. So he probably doesn't hold the same political opinions as many country lovers do. And he's just so, I don't know, he's so humble and self reflective. He's an incredible songwriter. And the other cool thing, I was just talking about this, I went with my neighbors, is that you can hear when he sings, you can hear his words. It's because and I appreciate that. You know, the band before him was very good, but first of all, they were more like a house band. They should have been in a smaller enclosed area. Their sound just wasn't very good. And you couldn't understand a word they were saying, which is, I don't know if that's an old person thing or, but I can remember, I mean, I knew all the lyrics to all the songs I listened to in college because you could hear them. You know, we didn't have Google back then. You couldn't research it. You had to hear it on the radio. You had to hear it from the person singing it. And then somehow we got away from that. So, anyways, I'm enjoying that. I just saw a gigantic wasp up there. I'm like, ooh. So what else have I been doing? Oh, I bought an e-bike. Oh my God, it's changed my life. Now, I lived on a bike for years in college and then when I got out of college. And I can't remember. I think I always had a car, but I think I was dating somebody who just didn't believe in cars or for whatever reason. I know he's very into exercise, and so I kind of glommed onto that. And I brought my bicycle up from college and lived on it for 3 years. Back in the day when cars weren't as graceful about bicyclists as they are, or most are now. So you took your life in your hands every freaking time you went on the road. But and there was a point at which it crossed over from being fun to just being transportation, And so once I got out of it, I was like, yeah, I don't want to go back. But then my neighbors bought an e-bike. Well, they contacted me about a month ago and said, my neighbor works for a very reputable camping gear company, and he called and he said, we're having a friends and family huge discount on this bike. And I looked at it. I just hadn't been thinking e-bike. I was thinking scooter. Because I could get around very easily on a scooter, and I've always kind of lusted after one, and so I was kind of in my mind thinking that might be something I'll do. But then he kind of made the argument. Well, I mean, after that, so I passed on that great deal, unfortunately, and then him and his wife both. Well, he bought a different one, but she bought one, and I went and looked at it, and oh God, it's adorable. So it's just a little step through e-bike. Pedal assist, so it's not completely, full on electric all the time, but it's not like a motorcycle. It's when you pedal, the assistance kicks in, and you have five step, I guess step ups is what I've been calling them. So one is a kind of an helpful assist. 2 is even more helpful. 3 is really good if you're going up a hill. 4 and 5 I've never been on. I don't know what hill I'd be going up to require that. But you combine that with your gear shifting and 10 gears, I think. Is that right? 1, 2, 3. Maybe it's 2, maybe it's 14. I don't know. Anyways, yeah. So that's been super fun. So I've been all over the place on that. Oh, and so anyways, he kind of talked me into saying, scooters, you're limited to the road. Um, keep are limited to you can't go in the bike lanes with a scooter. And I'm like, well, that's no fun. I mean, not that I kind of knew that, but I guess I wasn't really thinking about it. And you can with the bicycles. And of course, this town is just covered with bike paths. And they also just announced a kind of a 2-year aggressive plan to really ramp that part of the city up, which I'm very excited about. And I thought, okay, good. Well, let's do that. Let's do that. So I waited and waited and waited. Finally, it went on sale. And then you combine with that with the dividend credit I get. So it ended up being a pretty good deal. Because they're freaking expensive, man. I think that was another reason I was kind of like, $3,000? I don't think so. I could buy a really cool scooter for that. But then, it came down. The bicycle itself didn't come down in price, but there was a very good sale attached and then a dividend attached. So I was like, cool. So I bought it, and I love it. It is so much fun. I could just, I remember riding it, coming up on it, every little hill you feel on a bicycle. Anybody who bikes knows that. And so, and then you see these big hills and you're like, ugh. And I still do that because I just am not in the mentality that it's going to be easy. But the pedal assist just, oh my God, makes it so easy. So that's been really fun. What else? So e-bike, concerts, and gardening. I've kind of gotten into gardening. Who knew? So I am not a gardener. I mean, generally, have never been a gardener. Now, my mother was a master gardener. I mean, she was an exception. I always used to say, my mom could stick a pencil in the ground and it would frickin' grow. I mean, she was that good. She could grow anything. And I can remember our kitchen over the kitchen sink. There was always she always had starters. Some kind of, somewhere where if she knew she could get it started without grafting it or whatever, she'd pick a little piece off, put it in her pocket, bring it home, put it in some dirt so the windowsill was always full of these things, and then she'd plant them out in the garden. So I remember one day she was out there. This is my gardening history with my mom. So I don't know how old I was, maybe 14. Starting to get a little mouthy. I was never super mouthy, but I had it in me from an early age. And so she decided that I was going to go help her garden. And I just was, no. It wasn't about the dirt. It wasn't about getting dirty. I just found it tedious. And I had no skin in the game. Well, do you ever with a task like that? I don't know. I didn't. And I don't know why I hated it so much. Maybe because she loved it so much. You know how that can be. But anyway, so she goes, fine, then you're going to do a chore this afternoon, Nancy. So you go polish the silver. And I was like, okay. And she's like, I know in her mind, she's like, this is not turning out to be the punishment I expected it to be. And so I run inside and get the card table. It was a beautiful summer day. Get the card table out, face it towards the sun so I can get a little tanning going on as well. Pull up a chair, all the silver stuff, all the silver polishing stuff, cloth, everything. And I'm out there for 2.5 hours polishing all her silver, having the time of my life. Because that is just a mindless task that I don't mind doing. And every time she would walk past me, she'd just look at me, I think, scratch her head and go, I'm not sure she's my daughter. Because she hated that task. And I think, frankly, if it hadn't been for her mom and her mom's mom, she never would have had silver in the house. But she did. And back in those days, when you got married, you got, that's what you signed up for. And so she has a beautiful set, which I now own. And I have never pulled it out. I think maybe one Christmas I did. One Christmas. But yeah, I just don't pull it out. There it sits. So, yeah. Although I pulled a spoon out the other day because there's a guy that's on TikTok or YouTube Short that actually makes spoon rings. That's what he does, and he says he's happy to do spoon rings out of a keepsake or heirloom piece of silver or whatever if you want. but you kind of have to sign a disclaimer that if he wrecks it, which he tries not to, but he says, on occasion I fuck it up. Um, on occasion I fuck it up. Um, so, yeah. Um, if I fuck it up, you can't hold me responsible. But on the other hand, 9 times out of 10, or 9.9 times out of 10, it comes out beautiful. And I went to the silver bin to pull out a spoon to see if it was long enough for him to do that. Because I thought that might be fun. To have a little silver spoon ring made out of my mom's silver, that would be fun. So I'm still considering it. I decided not to do it at the time, but I'm still considering it because I think that might be fun. So that's that story. What else? Okay, fragrance of the day. Marnie. Isn't that a cute bottle? So I've had this fragrance forever. I think, well, not forever. 2012, I think, is when it came out. And it's funny because I have started to find that I really like pepper in fragrances. I've always liked the pink pepper from the old not Bath and Body Works. What was it called? Maybe it was Bath and Body. What's the one that has all the candles? Not that one. It's the other one that had kind of all the natural products. They used to have really good fragrance oils, and they had one called Pink Pepper. I still have a whole load of them, so I knew they were discontinuing. I grabbed like 5 of them, which is down in my little storage bin. But anyway, so I know I like pepper, but it was hard. I think I had a hard time finding it in fragrances, and then this one showed up. And I don't think I recognized what was in it, and it was a pretty powerful, some other stuff going on in here that I didn't really care for, but it was super memorable, and which is, I find fascinating by fragrances. There's some that you remember for the rest of your lives, and others you don't. You spritz it once, and it just doesn't, your brain just hits the delete button because it just doesn't want to hang on to that memory. It doesn't matter. And that's why I love scent memories. I love getting a fragrance that's remarkable and then pairing it with a vacation. Because at that point, that fragrance will always take you back to that vacation. Always. I have that memory with, oh God, what's it called? Now, this is from Bath and Body Works. I think it's called Energy. It started out as an aromatherapy kind of line with them, and then they kept it because I think it's super popular. And they have lotions, and I don't know if they have soap, but they do have a little kind of light fragrance called, what do they call it now? Ginger something. But it smells like oranges to me. And what is so funny about that fragrance, and this is, and I've always known about scent memory, but I think this one really hammered it into me. Where I was headed down to California. I was going down there. What was I doing? I guess I was driving down there and then going to Arizona, and then to visit friends, and then I was going to come back and visit my brother and sister-in-law in L.A. or maybe I don't know. I can't remember the details. Anyways, I was staying at a hotel near the Burbank airport, and their products that they had in their bathroom was this Bath and Body Sunshine stuff, and my hands were so dry, and so I pulled that out, and that smell is just California to me. It had been the thick of winter. I was so excited to be in the sunshine coming from Seattle, and that smell just was California, Southern California. And to this day, when I get a whiff of that, I have the spray and I have the lotion still, and when I dig them out of the bin, I'm just transported back to that vacation, and it was a great vacation. Anyways, I digress. So I always remembered this fragrance, which I thought was unusual, and I started thinking about it the other day, and I thought, I wonder, and I have about 6 bins of fragrances that I keep in the dark and the cold in my storage area in my garage. And I thought, I wonder if that's going to be a pain in the butt to find. But I went down there, and it was in the first bin. I was so excited. It was like it was meant to be. And I pulled it out, and I sprayed it, and I was like, oh, my God. I love this. Love it. It's full of pepper and other things. And the other things no longer bother me. And again, I always say, I'm not sure if it's because I've aged to the point where I'm just not smelling this stuff, or if I've just gotten better. My nose has just gotten better ability to pick up nuances and ignore some and enjoy the others. But anyways, so I went onto a website called Base Notes, which is a great resource for anybody who likes fragrances. I encourage you to join. It's a great thing. Anyways, they have a huge directory of fragrances, and it lets you know what all the notes are. And of course, the first one in this one is like white pepper and then black pepper, pink pepper, whatever. Huge pepper notes, which I just didn't connect with at the time, but now I can't get enough of it. So I was so excited. And then of course the rise, yay, I found it. And then the fall, been as I was saying to myself, out of print. There is discontinued like ages ago, and I was like, well, shit, isn't that just the way it is? You know, you find something you really like, and then it's like a really good tarot deck. You know, you finally find one that you're going to connect with. And then whoever's showing it to you on YouTube or whatever says, oh, but sorry, it's out of print. It's like, ah. I don't mind that they show them. I know some people always say, sorry, this one's out of print. Thanks for telling me, but I never mind that you show decks that are out of print, because it just makes me, if it's one that I really want to connect with, then I'll be on the hunt for it. And it's kind of like hunting for anything, when you're on the hunt for something, it's kind of fun when you find it. And so, it may not be fun if it's whoever's got it's charging $400 for it, but still you're on the hunt for it, and the hunt is the fun part. Anyways, and so per usual, I went on Google to see if any random fragrance house still carried it, and I think this was very much a mass market. I mean, fragrances are very similar to tarot decks. There are mass markets, and then there are niche, and there are boutique fragrances. This might fall more under the category of boutique. In other words, it's not a niche fragrance house, but it's not. What am I trying to? It's not Clinique either. Marni is a fashion brand. I think, I don't know. I may be giving you a false history. I have no idea. But anyways, so per usual, I went on to eBay to see if I could find one. Sure enough, I found a nice big bottle in a sealed box for a reasonable price. So I went ahead and went for it, for the big bottle, because it'll, as we say in our family, it'll last you the rest of your life. I think I told that story, but my sister and brother were going on and on about how they were really going back and forth about which, grill. Their last grill finally died. They'd had it for like 50 years or whatever, 30 years at least. They bought it. I think they got it when they were married, so at least 30 plus years. And so they were on the hunt for a new one, and kind of pissed at themselves that they're putting so much energy and time into this arduous task of finding the perfect grill for them. And then one of their neighbors came out and said, well, don't beat yourself up. I mean, look at it this way. It's probably the last grill you'll ever buy. And my brother and his wife are like, oh, shit, he's right. So I was going to say that the bane of getting older is, the good news is, the last one you'll ever buy. Bane is, it's the last one you'll ever buy. Tick, 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 tick as time marches on. But anyways. So, a couple of things I wanted to talk or do is I want to share a new spread I invented. Well, I don't know if I call it invented, but it's a pairing of cards that I think I've shown this pairing before. I really, really like it. And I want to share it with you again. But then I added a twist, which has been really fun. Somebody the other day was showing the Sacred Destiny. Can I speak today? Sacred Destiny Oracle. And I forgot how much I love that deck. And somewhere along the way, it wended its way back into the back. And I hadn't pulled it out in a while. So I pulled it out. I thought this might be fun. Then, this is a new tarot bag of mine. And if I think about it, I'll link it below. Yeah, I think this is Prey Moon. She does wraps, and then she does fab, or I don't know. I'll put the link down below. I've got two that I'm going to show, and I don't know if they're. Here's the other one. This is my Magical Forest tarot bag, which I just love. And I don't know if these came from the same or not. I'll link them. If they came from different studios, on Etsy, I'll link them both. If not, I'll just link the one. Now I'm confused. Okay, so anyways. So, love this tarot bag, and then I added this little yellow zipper pull. Oh, shit, wrong deck. I don't know why I brought this one over. Well, actually, I love it. It's the One World Tarot. I don't have the box. Oh, I should go get it. If I'm going to name it, I should name it fully. Okay, I'm back. One World Tarot. I was watching Lena Rodriguez doing a double live stream with somebody. I can't remember. And she kept holding up these cards, and I'm like, I love these cards. Show these cards to me. Who? And so on that, so I figured she'd, I always hesitate to answer or ask direct questions on a live stream because they've got so much going on. And so I just asked the community. I said, that's a really cute deck or a really cool looking deck. Does anybody know what it is? And sure enough, Lena came on and said, Star Flurry asked what deck this is. Let me tell you what deck it is. It's my deck. And then she said the name, which was the One World Tarot. And it's just really cute. I really like it. Glossy cards, which are fun, super fun on camera because they show up really good. Not so fun in person, but I don't care. But these actually shuffle really well, which I'm surprised at. Usually for me, shiny decks don't shuffle all that well. Oh God, that's a story I was going to tell when I was talking about eBay. Is I had been looking for one of the decks that I really like is the from Tarot Collectibles, the Groovy or the Trip and Wait. Except the first edition is sold out, and if there was a second edition, it's sold out too. The only ones you can get are the borderless, and I really like the borders because it's a busy card. I mean, it's colorful. It's 70s pop kind of artwork. And so the border, the white border around the images just gives it kind of contains it a little bit. Wraps a bow around it, I guess, in a way. And so I've been looking all over for it, and I would periodically check eBay, and it was never there. And I said, okay, it's one of those decks, one of those elusive decks. And then out of the blue, I was sitting on the couch the other day, and I said, I haven't looked at eBay recently. I think I'll go in there and see if it's there. So I go in, type in Triple Weight, one deck comes up. There it is, first edition, OOP. And cheaper, more inexpensive than I would have bought it new from Tarot Collectibles. So I was like, well, dang. Nice. Now, not that this is a super valuable deck by any stretch, but the fact that it never shows up on eBay tells me it's either people love it and don't want to sell it, or it's just not widely available, that they just don't show up that often. So I was very excited. Oh, God, I just remembered. Oh, I have a live stream to do. Oh, well, I could watch it back. I've got a guitarist friend that is doing a live stream today, and it just popped up that he's on right now, and I gotta tune in. So I'll wrap this up quickly, which obviously I won't because I'm going to do a reading. But anyways, well, I can come back. Why don't I come back? And then I'll piece these together. That's one thing I can do. I think I'm going to do that. I'll be back. Hello again. Okay, so I'm back. So actually, that was the 1 day ahead warning. So the live stream is actually tomorrow. So good. So no conflicts. Okay. So did I finish the Trip and Wait story? I think I did. So anyway, so I got that. Except it was a bummer because the guy said the deck was perfect condition except for the box, and it came exactly that way until I started going through the cards and realized that the Judgment card the Empress card had the sticky stuff on it, as did the Judgment card just down in the corner. Judgment card was worse than the Empress. And so I thought, well, so I'll work on the Empress first. Whatever damage I physically do to it will be smaller than what I do to the Judgment card. So I was going after it, and I realized I could actually, whatever it was, I could scrape it off. It was kind of topical. Scrape it off with my thumbnail, but in that process, it left kind of a dent in the card. So I thought, I don't know what this sticky substance is. So I thought, I'll go after it, which I've done before, kind of a watered-down version of Goo Gone, and just lightly rub the card, hopefully not enough to go through the finish on it, but just enough to get the sticky off. Well, that didn't work. I wrecked it even more. So lesson learned, don't do that ever again. But so I just cleaned it up as best I could, and then I just went after it with some Mod Podge, which is kind of a matte finish lacquer, and I just sprayed the corner of both of them so they were protected, because they left little kind of paper edges that could get hung up if you're shuffling or doing something like that. So now they just have this good protective finish on them. Okay, so it's not as good as new, but it's as good as it's going to get, and I love it. It's so much fun. I've done a couple of readings with it, and it's been really fun. So I'm glad I have that. Okay, so next. Cheers. So my reading, let me make sure I don't have, keep checking to make sure I don't have sin in my mouth or anything like that. And yeah. Okay, so first I start out with my Band-Aid box oracle. For anybody who is looking, so these are called, they're available on Amazon, and they're called wellies. And there's like they're really cool. They're for Band-Aids, they're expensive, but they're tie-dye Band-Aids, so they're totally cool. And then it comes in this great box, and they have different kinds and whatever, but they fit my circular deck perfect. So I put in these two little foam spacers to keep them from bouncing around. And that's my deck case. Keeps it protected. Anyway, so this is the Uncertain Oracle, which I just adore. And I pair it with, if I can find a place for this. Sorry, I keep bouncing it. I pair it with, so it's the Uncertain Oracle by Numinous Spirit Press. There's the title card. So it's Numinous. Do they have a website here? I'll link it down below, but it's I guess it's numinousspiritpress.com. Easy enough. Anyways, it's just a fun little tie-dye back, kind of, I don't know what you call it, tie-dye, watercolor back, round deck, simple keywords, no guidebook. The author, I don't know if the author's named on the title card or not. I don't see it on there. Probably on the website though. Anyways, just I remember reading that the author was saying, it encourages you to, tap into your own intuition, which I'm terrible at it. So I figured this is always good practice. So I start off with these. So I suppose I should bring this down. So the first one is Sweet. I'm going to do this in order. Isn't that cute? God, it looks like a sweet tart. Second one is, did I show a close up of this? Sweet. Next one is Merge. And, oh, is that pretty? Belonging. I just love this deck. I don't know why, I just do. I mean, it's just a sweet. They aren't all sweet. The other day I got Nightmare, which was like, well, that sucks. Although the whole reading ended in the Sun card, so it ended up not being horrible, but it was kind of like, okay, fine. So this deck does have its moments. So, here, I should show this bag off again. I just adore this bag. It's a wrap bag with ribbons, and it's for my Magical Forest Tarot, which is the deck of the month for me, deck of the couple of months, I guess. I love this deck. I love the images. And the honest truth is, I found such a great pairing with this Uncertain Oracle. It's just so pretty on the table, and you'll see it here in a second. So the Magical Force, is that a little Scarabeo deck? I think it is. I love this deck. Anyway, so okay, these are the backs. So under Sweet, we have the Three of Pentacles. It's little foxes, so cute. Under Merge, we have the Ace of Cups, which is my stalker. The Ace and the King of Cups have been my stalker cards for weeks. I should look at that more carefully. And then under Belonging is the Moon. Ooh, Mysterioso. I love this moon card. Oh my God. Oh, it's so pretty. Anyway, so there's that. And I'm seriously drawing a blank on this reading, which I frequently do. I mean, there's always something to be said in partnerships and community and working together. Yes, it's sweet. Ace of Cups. You know, I don't know. I just don't know, along with the moon. I think it maybe be careful that you're not... I tend to look at tarot as a warning, and I don't mean to do that because I don't think it is a warning. But I think it's you know, kind of the be mindful of. Be mindful of is the nice way of saying watch out. No, anyways, so there's that. And so then what I've been doing after I do that, find a place for these cards, is I've been tying the reading together with 3 cards from the Sacred Destiny. And what I like about the Sacred Destiny is the same thing I like about the Uncertain Oracle, is that it's just a one-word keyword. Now, the Sacred Destiny does come with... God, I love how the Sacred Destiny shuffles, too. Just, you know. It's a beautiful deck. It's beautiful backs. And who's it by? Denise Lynn. Dennis Lynn? Denise. Comes with a big fat guidebook. A very nice box. So anyways, what I do is then I lay down 3 cards from this deck and string the keywords together for my daily, I don't even want to call it a mantra, but my daily reminder. And if it goes with my reading, then aren't we happy? So this one says purity. So I have sweet, I should show this up. God, what a gorgeous card. Purity under sweet. I love that. I just love the color matching of these two. This one not quite so much, but oh my gosh. Okay. Second card is Stand Still. Isn't that gorgeous? Is that a pelican? Yeah. Or I don't know what it is. I'll have to look at the guidebook for that. Stand Still, which kind of runs against the word merge, but... Oh, this third card. Lisa Pepez loves this card probably. Gateway. And so immediately I said, so I am allowed to mess with the wording only in that I can change the tense, or if it's a verb and can become a noun, or a noun, it can become a verb. I'm allowed to change that up. But just right off the bat, it's... I gotta turn off my screensaver. It keeps going dark on me. So right off the bat, I'll pull these up just a little bit. Pull these up like that. So you can see everything. So the gateway to purity is to stand still. And actually that's such, I'll get into my days where I'm moving so fucking fast that I have to just stop. Somebody needs to put a hand on my chest and just say stop. And I'm trying to get better at doing that. It used to be in my work that was an advantage, because I had so much to do in such a short amount of time that to just continuously plow through was what allowed me to be successful. Now in my life, where I finally kind of starting to open up to life, which has just been a really amazing treat. And in a way, I kind of want to associate it with tarot, because this is the most kind of meaningful change I've made in my life. And it's just, well, that and getting off Twitter, which I think I mentioned a while back, getting off of that mind storm. But doing this and being more self-reflective has really kind of opened me up to the kind of the glory that is around all of us, the beauty and the nature and the glory of life, and how freaking awesome it is, or can be, and yet I still have trouble with standing still, even when I'm on my own timeline as opposed to 10 million other people's. And so this is my reminder, that the gateway to purity in life, purity in thought, purity in mindfulness, purity in production, purity in learning and relationships and everything, is to take in the moment and stand the frick still every once in a while, Nancy. It's okay. And I was going to look up to see what bird that is. And it's interesting that it's associated with the Ace of Cups, which is the one that's been showing up so much. Because I don't associate the Ace of Cups with standing still, but maybe that's it. And that's telling me to look it up. So I'm going to look up stand still because I want to know what that is, though. So it says the swamp is a low-lying area. The swamp is a low-lying area with woody plants, shrubs, and trees where water collects and saturates the ground. During rainy seasons, swamplands become overwhelmed with water. The edge of the swamp is often a quagmire of mud and silt, but an abundance of plants and swamp insects dwell there. Because of the sticky nature of the mud, it is often impossible to walk through the swamplands. Even trying to maneuver with a boat can be difficult and treacherous because of the dense vegetation. However, there is great value in swamplands. They act as a natural flood control, as runoff can be temporarily stored in their basins. They keep the land around them from washing away. Lush vegetation provides a haven for nesting birds and waterfowls, as well as a habitat mammals such as beaver. Freshwater swamps near the Tigris and the Euphrates River in the Middle East are part of the Fertile Crescent and contributed to the fertility of the land for the earliest humans. So it says the sacred landscape wants you to know, if it feels that some areas of your life has slowed down or even come to a standstill, you are right. Something is not progressing. Even it seems that things are flowing, look beneath the surface. Perhaps something is immovable. The first step to becoming unstuck is to acknowledge where you are. The soul loves the truth. In life, you can either say there are no weeds, or you can notice the weeds and begin pulling them out. Notice what isn't working in your life, and then take slow, steady steps to unlock the barriers. In nature, when one is being sucked into mud, the worst thing to do is struggle. And that's that classic scene from Harry Potter. I don't remember which one it was. I think it was the Sorcerer's Stone. The Philosopher's Stone, I think. But anyways, they fall... Is it that one? Anyways, they fall down, and then they get caught in this web of vegetation. And Hermione's the first one to figure out that if you just relax, you'll fall right through. And then Harry figures out, and of course Ron struggles and struggles, and Hermione just finally yells at him, you need to stop fighting it, just let go. And sure enough, he finally drops down. So therein lies that thing. So I kind of interpreted the other way when I was talking about this, but maybe it is really the gateway to purity is to understand the stand stillness of what you are upon, and be mindful of the waters that run below it, which makes perfect sense to me in a weird off way. So there's that spread, and I just freaking love it. I love how it looks. Like I said, especially these cards together, and then this one is just a lovely tidier for me. It gives me a foundation with which to regard these cards in a new and different way, and that makes it really fun, super fun. Turn this book upside down. The Sacred Destiny, Tarot of the Magical Forest, Sacred Destiny, and the Uncertain Oracle. Alrighty, that's it from Star and Flurry today. I hope you're all having a great day. I'll try to do this more often. I think I got kind of caught up when I first started doing this, and I felt pressured to keep doing them. And, and I haven't been doing it that long, but there is that pressure that you feel to keep doing it. And when I hear veteran YouTubers talk about, I got to get something out today, blah, and they feel this consistency. The nice thing is, they're making a living off of it. I am not. And so I don't know why I was pressuring myself to be prolific, because it's just not necessary. This is fun, and I hope it's fun for you. I love telling stories. My family's sick of them, so I kind of feel like I have a new group of folks to talk to, and so I've been enjoying that. And it gives me great pleasure to do that. So, anyways, thank you so much for coming by. I really appreciate it. Hit the like button if you think about it. I appreciate that as well. And Star and Flurry out. Talk to you later.